So, I was reminded of something that I have. I have 3 questions that I like to ask to people to see if they're really worth my time when it comes to deeper conversation, right? Like, I'll give time to just about anyone to just chit chat and whatnot. But when it comes to, like, pearls before swine, right, in the Bible, it talks about the fact that you shouldn't give your points of wisdom to people that are just going to trample on them. Here's some art. So, I have 3 questions that I like to ask. Question number 1. How would you feel if you didn't have breakfast this morning? That's the first thing I like to ask people. If someone can't operate in the realm of what if, then it's going to be very difficult to have conversations where they take a stance and you take a stance, and then you present scenarios to try and actually work through what those beliefs are. That's too zoomed in. What am I talking about? Right, so if someone takes a stance and you want to prod it, right, to see what they really mean by their stance, it's impossible with someone who can't play in hypotheticals. You're not going to get anywhere. So if they can't answer how they'd feel if they didn't have breakfast this morning, then they're not really going to have the ability to engage. It's pretty cool. Now, I didn't necessarily come with all these questions myself. Definitely something that was learned from observing other people and listening to other people, and then just throughout life, and I've implemented it. Pretty sure these aren't actually connected. But so, second question that I like to ask is, are some people better than others? I learned that one from Michael Malice. Here's art. But yeah, so I like to ask, are some people better than others? There's no right or wrong answer. It's really about how a person answers, right? Just like with the first question of asking, like, how would you feel if you didn't have breakfast this morning? That's about engaging with hypotheticals. There's no right or wrong answer. I guess the wrong answer would be not being able to engage with hypotheticals. And then with the second question, it's really about your interpretation of the question. It says a lot about the person based on how they answer that question. And so it helps me know where they're at, and if you can have good conversation with them. And then the third question is, do you believe in universal truths? This is cool. The third question I like to ask is, do you believe in universal truth? Because if you don't believe in universal truth, then it means you probably don't believe in God and the Bible and everything, because there has to be truth that's not subjective truth. It can't just be my truth or your truth. I can say, I can say it's really hot out here, and you can say, no, it's not, and that's subjective. But we can say it's 96 degrees, and that's the objective truth. I'm gonna go this way. Right, so there has to be objective truth. There has to be truth outside of our perception and our subjectivity. So yeah, there has to be universal truth. And so if someone can't accept that there's universal truth, then they're probably not going to hear you out on things, especially religious matters. But yeah, those are the three questions that I like to ask people. Those are the three questions that I like to ask to people to figure out whether or not they're worth engaging in deeper conversation. We should always be friendly to everyone. This is a cool little plaza. So we should always be friendly to everyone. And okay. That's gone now. But you know, that's different. I'm talking about finding those close friends, right? Finding those people that are. So like when it came to Jesus had 12 disciples, right? But then first off, there was multitudes of disciples. There was hundreds of disciples. And then he had 12 close disciples. And then he had 3 really close disciples. And then I think he had John, if I'm not mistaken. John was his closest disciple, right? And so just like that in life, we have people that will be in those different tiers. And so I like to ask those questions, kind of figure out where people are at and where they fit in all this.